Everybody, this is Candace with Reasons for Hope, and I am just checking in with you all today. We thought we'd do a live update. I don't have Carl with me right now. I'm in my home, but Carl and some of the rest of our speaking team is in Mount St. Helens, and they're doing some amazing hikes and some amazing training. And so, Carl, Frank, I'm going to bring you guys in. And how's it going?
Awesome. It, it's been an amazing trip so far. Absolutely amazing.
That's
That
because he's in shape.
I was going
It's been painful.
You guys had a really big hike yesterday, right?
Yeah. Yesterday we did I did a total of 12.5 miles from the visitor center all the way into the base of Mount St. Helens, and we went to where the there's the man-made Engineers Canyon, which was developed so that the water could be piped out, that was overflowing Spirit Lake, but also where the um, mud flow carved out what they call the Little Grand Canyon. And so, as that mud flow carved it out, that was back in 1982 in March, I believe. Seeing the uh, rock layers and the residual effects from all of the things that happened. Nothing short of amazing. And we were led by Dr. Steve Austin in there. And it was truly a privilege because not everybody can go and do this. So we were fortunate enough to get permits to go on the hike and permits to go literally up to the canyon walls itself. It was just nothing short of incredible.
Yeah, it's all off trail, and to get trail permits is tough, but to get the off trail permits is even more difficult. So we've got to say a big thank you to Dennis from Living Waters Camp up in Wisconsin for really pulling all this together. Then Dr. Austin for being willing to take us out because Frank did 12 and a half. Mine said 12, but I don't know how that's possible because I don't think I can walk that far. But I know coming back we were hurting, man. I was we get to the last stage to tell you a frustration story. So we get to the last part, we get up there and it's like, yes. And then we go up, there's a split, right? There's a Y. And so the guys are standing there talking to us. And so we see other people walking up the left hand side. So it was myself, Brian, and Dave. We're like, okay, I guess we go to the left. And it is like this. It's like a crazy incline, right? And so we get up probably 2/3 of the way up, and out of the corner of my eye, I see the parking lot. I'm like, is that our parking lot? And we look over, and sure enough, we were supposed to take a right to go to the parking lot, and that was all flat. But we were like up this incline 3/4 of the way to go up to the visitor center. I don't want to go to the visitor center. I want to get to the parking lot. So I think that's where my extra mileage came in, you know. So,
Yeah.
but it was good, and I think
So the moral of that story is what?
don't go hiking.
Okay.
And I was not so bright that I actually did. He stopped 2/3 of the way. I went the full way because we went. Dan and I went before him, and so we actually didn't find out till we were at the visitor center. Oh, this is not where we're supposed to be, and had to circle back around. So
I'll
Although,
tell
look,
you,
go ahead, Carl.
I'll tell you, I'll tell you the one thing that I took away. Um, when you go down there and you hear Dr. Austin speak, and there's another lady, Marcia.
uh,
Uh,
I forget her name. I believe it
I
was.
think it was Marcia. She was doing some teaching as well. And you know, the thing that really struck me, I love the apologetic component, the rapid stratification, rapid deposition, rapid ice formation. Because you think about it, there's 100 feet glacier up at the top. This is 40 years. In 40 years, you got a 100-foot glacier. And so when somebody tells you that it takes millions of years for deep ice to form and millions of years for laminations to lay down, it's just not the case. It is not. It is scientifically provable that's not true. But I think the thing that really struck me the most is as they were speaking, everybody knew something was going to happen. Everybody knew. The signs were all there. Earthquakes, or steam plumes, bulging on the side of them. Everybody knew something was going to happen. And still, there's a monument there to how many people?
57 people.
57 people that were killed. Now, some of them were outside of the blast zone because they didn't realize that it was going to do what it did. They expected it to go vertical instead of horizontal, which was unique. But still, the vast majority of those people did not have to die. The warnings were there, they didn't listen. And I think that's what we see going on in our world today. The warnings are here. God's coming again. We're in a very interesting time right now with all the craziness. And I don't want to get negative because in the midst of the darkness, there is still light. Um, but the warnings are there. And so I'm praying that what this can do to us is help educate us to be better communicators when it comes to these issues. But also, I'm praying that it gives us a passion to get out and just talk to more people and give them the warning. Jesus
Yeah,
is coming again. There's a judgment
absolutely.
coming. You don't have to go through it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Good. So you have a few more days left there. What else else are you guys gonna learn, or what else is planned for the next couple of days? I know you're speaking a couple different times.
Yes. So tonight I will be speaking at the Mount St. Helens Creation Center. Carl will be
That's in
speaking
Castle Rock, Washington. If you're in this area, make sure to come on out. It's at 7, right?
7 o'clock. We'll be talking about the idea that the Earth is nothing but a cosmic accident. Not really. We'll debunk that idea tonight. And then Carl will be speaking about 40 minutes, maybe a little more
Yeah,
north
about
of
an hour,
that.
hour 10 up in Olympia. I'll be in Olympia, Washington, at Grace Baptist Church, Grace Bible Church. You know what it is, Candace?
I believe it's Grace. I think it's Grace Bible Church. I believe.
Grace Church.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and I'm doing Becoming Bold there tonight.
okay.
So if you're
If
in this area, come on.
Yeah,
And,
here
and,
I'm
and
gonna give a quick plug for our app. If you download our app, all of our events are listed on our
Yep.
app. So go to your app store and look for Reasons for Hopes. Look for the asterisks, and you can find all of our events on our app. That was a
and we
little.
have great plug, and so it'll help people keep updated with the fact that it's not just tonight.
Mm-hmm.
There will be speaking on Friday and Saturday as well,
Yep.
and even up to Sunday.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, if you're into it, check out the app, get the information, and come on out. We'd love to meet you face to face.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
We've got another hike
tomorrow
tomorrow.
we'll be going to Spirit Lake, and
Mhm.
Spirit Lake is for those who remember after the blast, the eruption of 1980, when the north wall of Mount St. Helens blew out. The timber was just sheared because of the force of what was coming out of the mountain, and most of that timber ended up blowing towards the northeast and ended up in a lake called Spirit Lake. And the way the trees were not only rapidly fossilized, but the way they were buried in different what if we examined them today would be different sedimentary layers. However, all the trees were exactly the same age, so you can't just go off the sedimentation and where these things are located. But we will be going there tomorrow to kind of examine some of those things close up. So just another amazing opportunity.
A quarter of
Yeah.
the debris, a quarter of the debris landslide that came off of Mount St. Helens, it hit a ridge and got diverted. And one quarter of it went into Spirit Lake, and it sent up an 860-foot tidal wave onto the side of the mountain. And we're going to go see that tomorrow. The scour zone where that 860-foot tidal wave hits the mountain and pulled all those trees that had been blown over by the blast and brought them back into Spirit Lake. And today there's still even a floating log mat there, and that's probably Dr. Austin's big claim to fame is that he had predicted floating log mats, which would have been a mechanism for rapid coal formation, and also a method of explaining what you see at Yellowstone. Yellowstone, as Frank was saying, you've got different layers of dirt, and embedded in those layers of dirt, you have trees that are standing at different layers, 27 different areas. And so the long age explanation is that trees grow millions of years, layers build up, then another set of trees grow. Well, reality shows at Spirit Lake that no, that happens very quickly. One rapid event, these trees brought in, they literally go vertical as they get waterlogged because the root base is heavier, and then they sink and end up standing upright in the peat or basically the bark and all the junk that's getting deposited into the lake, and they're buried vertical. And you would look at these and they're at different layers. You think, oh wow, this is long periods of time for all these forests to grow. Not the case. So I think that's really probably his claim to fame was that right there. When I first saw that in 1990, I was like, That's pretty cool. So this is kind of bittersweet for me because I started here in 1990, not here at Mount St. Helens, but at this point, these things that we're learning. This was probably one of the first talks that I ever heard from Dr. Austin in 1990, and now here I am. Good night for however many years
Yeah,
later.
30 years. Yeah.
30 years later, and I get to actually be with him at the place that he did this talk from and about, and it's kind of cool. It's and the people. I think the relationships of some of the people that we're building with. There's some really good things going on here.
That's great. One thing I wanted to bring up was,
We lost your voice, Candace.
sorry about that. I muted myself. Um, I was just saying, unfortunately, Juan was not able to be with you guys, and just wanted to kind of bring up if you guys can be praying for Juan. He's had some medical issues. He's had some tests that he's gotten done, waiting on results. So we would just ask you to please pray for Juan. I know it's something he was hoping to join everyone on this trip and just couldn't. So please pray for him.
Yeah, and Brian too. He's on his way home.
Yep.
Pray for him. And the ministry out here, the Creation Center. Pat
Mm-hmm.
Roy is leading that. Been leading that for about a year now, and done a really good job. They've just opened up a whole new section that is really well done. Pray for them. Good people. There's a
Yeah.
lot of good people. Good people. Don't get discouraged with the craziness you see in the culture. Like here, Monday, they're starting with all the craziness again.
Mm.
Mandatory mask, cutting down. You can't. Only 25% in restaurants and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You can't let that beat you because man, they'll just
Mm.
wear you out, get you frustrated. They're joy suckers. Don't let them suck your joy. And
Yep.
pray for the Hawaii thing too, because we're still,
Yes.
we're running into the same issues.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're praying that God will be faithful. We're facing some things, but yet the bottom line is, have we been called to do it? Then we are going to try our best to fulfill the calling that we were given and do what it is we're called to do. Yep.
Absolutely.
You muted yourself again.
I gotta get used to this. Sorry about that. I'm gonna let you go because I know you got other people to see and be with and do things, and I know you're a few hours behind me yet. So anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your training and your time there. Thanks for sharing just a little bit of what you guys have been experiencing. So,
Absolutely. Aloha.
all right, guys, see ya.